Hey guys, Keps here with a new video, the art of pulling. Yep, pulling is definitely an art, and today we're gonna review all there is to know about it. Let's get into it. Pulling as the very first thing that happens in every fight will have a major impact on the way the rest of the fight turns out, and so getting it perfectly right will always be important and mainly depend on you, the tank. If you have witnessed in the past a failed pull, you most certainly know what I'm talking about. The first thing we'll discuss today will thus focus on the pulling rotation, or the abilities you use during a pull and in what exact order. The way Tank's threat system works has made it virtually impossible to lose aggro once you have had some time to build up some threat. This isn't necessarily the case at the very beginning of the fight, however, as you can still lose aggro if damage dealers pop their cooldowns, but you on the other hand slack a little and don't execute an optimal rotation. Survivability may be a little stressful at the pull as well, even if healers have nothing else to heal but you. This is because without an effective rotation you won't have enough resource rage to use a shield block at that pull, and so will inevitably be the victim of a couple of full unblocked hits that might surprise everyone, including yourself, in a rather unexpected way. Yep, it's really not uncommon to die right at the pull on a boss like Ultraction or Balrog if your pulling rotation isn't optimal and effective enough, simply because they hit like trucks right at the beginning. Here is the rotation I use on a single target boss in the first few seconds of the fight. It allows the greatest burst of damage you can possibly get from your abilities, making aggro loss simply impossible, while allowing you at the same time to directly shield yourself by using a shield block right after the charge, and applying the weakened blows debuff through Thunderclap, and hence prevent any dangerous burst of damage at the pull. The use of Demo Shout is completely optional and will depend on how hard the boss is hidden, and so if it's not necessary, simply keep it for a later time. I also use these two macros to facilitate the activation of all those abilities. I added the Strength Potion to furthermore increase your DPS burst and your survivability through parry. But you can also use a normal potion if you are only interested in survivability, of course. Now, for multi-target tanking of thrashes and adds, here is the pulling rotation I use. Notice that my initial shockwave will often incapacitate mobs, so if it's the case, it won't be necessary to shield block right away. Delay it till they start hitting you again. I also use Demoralizing Shout relatively fast, at the same time as shield block in fact. As in multi-tanking, it will always be more useful when you have all the mobs still alive and hitting you, rather than when there is already a couple dead. Finally, I keep Heroic Throw and Taunt for any random mob. I simply target them, then Taunt and Heroic Throw right after to generate some ranged threat. If there is a caster, simply bring the melee mobs beside him so you can have them all nicely stacked. And so having a second charge here with the double time talent, for example, can be very helpful. If there is more than one caster, simply interrupt one of them with Pummel or Disrupting Shout, then bring him beside the other one. Try to do this after the fourth GCD while the melees are still stunned, so you don't have to drag them all around. That's all there is to it, really. Next up is how to successfully combine Charge and Heroic Leap in a single move. The charge into a heroic leap combo at the pool, or the heroic leap into a charge combo during the fight to generate some additional rage isn't always that easy to perform, especially if you don't know what is the best way to actually pull it off. In this section thus, I'll be detailing how it's done and when is the safest time to place the second combo. We'll start with the charge heroic leap combination at the pool. In the first macro I gave, you can see that charge and everything else is placed before a heroic leap. This is done on purpose, in fact, as doing so will allow you to first trigger your charge ability and get the rage associated to it, and at the same time be able to place the heroic leap by simply left clicking where you want to land on the ground, and thus get the damage associated to it. If you do it the other way around, meaning if you leap before you charge, your charge will cancel your leap, and so you won't be able to get any damage from that heroic leap. With this macro, however, as you can see, all you need to do is press it while you are targeting a mob, then immediately left click the location you want to land with your leap, and you will automatically get the rage from the charge and the damage from the leap. Nice, now let's see how to heroic leap out of melee range, then directly charge back in to generate some rage. First of all, you should know that this combo isn't always applicable or even recommended, as it can make the boss move and disturb melee DPS or provoke a wipe in situations like Yosa's red phase or more shock stump. So be sure you are not endangering your raid before using it. It is thus best used when you are off thinking and don't have aggro on the boss, or in 5-man dungeons where moving mobs a little isn't that disturbing, or while tanking an ass that doesn't cleave. It's fairly easy to execute once you've learned how it works. First off, you'll have to leap away from melee range, but not too far, so that you remain in charging range. Now, once you land with that leap, your back will be facing the mob you just left behind, and so in order to be able to charge back to it right after you've landed, you'll have to turn around and face towards that mob again while your character is still leaping away and haven't landed yet. This will allow you to not lose a single second once you land, and charge right back to the mob. Don't hesitate to spam that charge button even before you land, it will get you moving even faster. That's it really, practice it a bit and you'll sure be doing it just as well as in that video. Okay, next up is the difference between Threat and Aggro. Threat and Aggro are two very different things. You generate threat each time you deal damage on an enemy or heal yourself or someone else. This means that a given mob has something called a threat list and will always take for target the person on top of that list, the person that has generated the greatest amount of threat on that mob thus. And there are exceptions to this, of course, as some mobs can either reset their threat list or simply ignore it momentarily through the use of some special abilities and randomly attack people. Aggro, on the other hand, is the act of forcing a mob to take you as a target because you did too much damage on it, for example, and ended up exceeding the mob's previous target's total threat on the mob's threat list. If you're in melee range, you'll have to exceed the mob's target threat by exactly 10% to pull aggro from him. But if you're outside of the mob's hitbox, that amount climbs to 30% instead. Now, aggro can also change without having to do any damage at all, thanks to our Taunt ability. It automatically gives you the aggro on a mob and puts you at the same threat level as the previous target. However, this means that technically Taunt doesn't generate any threat at all. It only gives you aggro, and so if you already have a mob's attention, taunting it won't have any effect at all. In fact, it can have an effect, but a rather bad one. As taunting some mobs 3 or 4 times in a row makes them immune to any taunt for about 15 seconds, which can prevent another tank from taunting them off you during a tank switch, for example. Simply put, do not taunt a mob if you already have aggro on it. And that's about it for Taunt and Threat. We'll finish this guide with the last section on movement and positioning after a pull. A quick positioning after the pull is essential and will often allow to gain some extra DPS on the boss. DPS that can be crucial to meet a given enrage timer, for example. This means if you have to move the boss at the pull to another location, you might want to keep your leap and use it right after the charge and shield slam to get quicker to that particular location instead of dragging him all around. Nefarian back in Blackwing Descent was a perfect example of this. If leaping isn't an option because DPS are hidden so hard that you might lose aggro, then simply drag him by strafing instead of backpedaling. You'll naturally get there quicker and will also be able to keep maintaining aggro by DPS net with your normal rotation. This doesn't mean, however, that backpedaling is totally forbidden as a tank. In fact, it's even recommended whenever you need to continuously move a mob for some reason, as it allows to move more swiftly and progressively and not too fast by strafing. Maloriac Blackface in BWD was even a good example of this, so don't hesitate to backpedal sometimes for that exact purpose. Finally, once you have positioned the boss, avoid moving him and turning him all around all the time. Keep him stable, as the least melee damage dealers have to move, the more DPS they'll be able to produce. And if you'll need an extra second or so to reposition, then let them know of it, so they don't pop their cooldowns exactly when you start moving again. In addition, always keep mobs facing away from your raid, unless there is a mechanism that says otherwise, and you should do fine. And that's it for now, guys. I hope this was helpful in some way. As always, feel free to comment. If you did like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you do like these videos in general, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. In any case, thanks a lot for sticking around, and I hope to see you in the next one.